It's true that crime mysteries are getting solved at a declining rate, as has been the case for decades. Case detectives are becoming increasingly overwhelmed with more recent cases. However, new forensic technology solves even the most mysterious cases faster than ever before. This includes investigations where new video footage evidence of the criminals caught on security cameras can eventually bring them to justice, sometimes much later. Number 5. Auburndale, Florida, located in the south-central portion of the state, has 17,453 citizens. The region has another prolific resident: cows. Ed Davis, a retired construction worker and resident of Auburndale, was passionate about his red and white Hereford cows. He and his wife raised them on a 100-acre plot of land and sold them to support their retirement. On one cold evening in December of 2011, though, a crime story unfolded on their pasture when someone backed a truck up to the field and lured dozens of the cows away. The thief then vanished into the countryside, leaving behind no trace but a few footprints from a pair of boots and impressions from a vehicle. Ed reported the criminal activity, and after 3 months of investigating, police made a discovery in February of 2012, a driving violation caught on a red light camera in nearby Haines City at 3 a.m. on the same day as the theft. Speeding through the intersection was a 1989 Dodge pickup towing a trailer full of red and white cows, which matched the color and the marking of Davis's stolen heifers. The truck was traced to a suspect in Tampa named Andres Trujillo, who was already on criminal probation. The cattle thief in question had targeted ranches in the Florida counties of Marion and Polk. In 2009 alone, Andrew was arrested by the Marion County Sheriff's Office for stealing 9 cows and a bull. Investigators were able to obtain CCTV footage from a livestock market auction on December 12, 2011, where Andres' associate, Yonel de Vera, who was also in the truck the night the cattle were stolen, sold 7 red and white Hereford cows. In addition to this incriminating footage, Andres and his accomplice were caught on ATM surveillance cameras, making more criminal transactions by cashing an auction check. The duo were quickly arrested, but unfortunately for Ed, it was too late for his prized cattle to be returned. Still, thanks to the CCTV footage, the strange but true crime mystery of the bovine burglary was finally solved. Number 4. Annie Lay was a doctoral student in pharmacology, studying the effects of different medicines on mice in a Yale University lab. In addition to her promising academic career, Annie was also set to marry her college sweetheart on September 13, 2009. The wedding never happened, as on September 8, 2009, Annie's life was cut short by a lab tech named Ray Clark. As the disturbing true crime story goes, Ray worked in the same lab that Annie studied in. Sources reported that Ray was known to be hard on Yale students who left the lab dirty, and particularly had a problem with the way Annie kept her lab space and her research mice. The building was located on Amistad Street, where both Ray and Annie had more than 70 security cameras. Employees also had to swipe an electronic key card both to enter the building and to get into restricted lab areas. These electronic records would ultimately prove crucial in identifying what happened to Annie when she failed to return home on the evening of September 8th. Annie was captured on camera entering the building at approximately 10 a.m. in the morning that day. When her roommates reported her missing, surveillance footage was one of the first places investigators looked. Because she was seen leaving work, crime detectives theorized that something had happened to her while inside, and that she could still be found in the building. They were proven correct when Annie was found no longer alive 5 days later on September 13th. Her body had been stuffed into a panel on the wall in the basement. Deep compression marks were found around her neck. Criminal investigators now ferociously focused on every potential perpetrator in Annie's unsolved case. A more thorough review of the electronic evidence revealed that Ray was the main criminal suspect. Security clearance logs showed that on that day, September 8th, he had gone into different rooms than normal, including the basement. Also on that day, there had been a fire alarm, and Annie was not seen during the evacuation. Ray, however, was caught on CCTV video, holding his head in his hands and looking stressed out. A police source told the New York Post that they believed that Ray had accidentally sounded the alarm after attacking Annie, potentially by using either his employee ID or hers. In addition, police had discovered several items in the wall where Annie was found, including a stained extra-large lab coat, a rubber glove, one of her necklace beads, and a blue t-shirt. By comparing surveillance footage, they confirmed that the t-shirt in evidence was the same one Ray had been wearing on that day. This detective work was enough to obtain a warrant for Ray's DNA evidence. They got samples of his hair and checked his fingerprints and found everything perfectly matched the evidence on file. The video footage combined with the forensic test results and a failed lie detector test resulted in Ray Clark's apprehension less than 10 days after Annie first went missing. An unbridled lust was the criminal motive behind his horrible acts. The case is solved and he's currently serving a 44-year prison sentence. Number 3. In 2017, a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania family heard strange noises in their attic. Jeremy and Ashley Kennedy were new parents of a baby girl, and sleep was hard to come by in their home. The noise sounded a lot to Jeremy and Ashley like someone was crawling through their vents, but that seemed impossible. The pair lived alone with their daughter. They were prepared to dismiss their suspicions when suddenly Jeremy glimpsed something suspicious. A narrow beam of light, like a flashlight, briefly shone from the vent in their bedroom. Horrified, he stayed with his wife and daughter in their bedroom, but the next day he went to get a security camera. When he placed it, nothing seemed unusual in the home's small attic. But later that month, Jeremy and his family were in for a shock when they received a motion alert on the small camera. In the eerie footage, an unknown man can be seen crawling around the home's attic. The mystery grows stranger when he removes a false wall and climbs up some planks. The man, who was carrying a drill and a light, laid down atop a vent directly above the baby's crib. He watched about half an hour before exiting. All in all, it was a terrifying scene. When the Kennedys watched the footage back, they were horror-struck to see that it was their neighbor, 69-year-old Robert Havria. They brought the recording to the police, who arrested Robert and charged him with stalking and trespassing. His criminal attorney reported that he was caught on camera in the attic for maintenance reasons. Months after the recording was made, in October of 2017, he was finally convicted and sentenced to serve time. Even at home, you can never be truly safe. Luckily, Jeremy's decision to invest in a security camera may have protected them all. Number 2. In the spring of 2022, 87-year-old Barbara Guster, a singing coach and longtime New York resident, was walking near Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood on a brisk spring evening when she was pushed from behind and fell to the ground. A good Samaritan helped her onto her feet and into the lobby of her building. Shortly after, Barbara was taken to the hospital, where she unfortunately did not survive. NYPD released a snippet of street footage which showed her alleged attacker. The woman was wearing a dark coat and black leggings and had long, straight red hair. Her face was clearly visible. The video evidence showed a woman walking away from the disturbing scene of the crime, only to return to the crime scene 6 minutes later to watch what happened next. Later that evening, surveillance cameras in the New York subway captured her traveling from Penn Station to Astoria, Queens. The photos and videos were shared online and on news channels across the city. For days, the internet was abuzz with this mystery. Who was the woman who could have done this? Surely in a city of 8 million people, someone would know. Days later, the mystery woman in the video was possibly identified as 26-year-old Long Island native Lauren Pazienza. Wanting to get the true story, crime investigators visited Lauren's parents' house the same day, where her father told them she wasn't home. The following day, accompanied by a lawyer, Lauren went to investigators. For the 2 weeks since the attack, she had been incognito on Long Island. She deleted her social media posts and left her cell phone at an aunt's house. Lauren remains in Rikers Island today. Her trial is set for October 6, 2022. Thus far, she has refused 2 plea deals. With so much video evidence to support the charges, it seems like a difficult case to defend against. Number 1. 63-year-old Bird Billings and 43-year-old Melanie Billings lived in a large home just west of Pensacola, Florida. They got married sometime in the late 1990s and wanted a big family, so they adopted 13 special needs children. Because of the needs of their adopted family, their home had 16 security cameras installed. On Thursday, July 9, 2009, 2 men entered the home through a back door, while 3 went around to the front to grab a home safe and a briefcase, and returned to their cars to flee the scene, all in less than 5 minutes. During this time, the husband and wife were not spared. Because the surveillance footage of the inside and outside of the house was fairly complete, authorities had a thorough understanding of the crime. Investigators were able to trace one of the 2 cars to a local man named Leonard Gonzalez Sr., who had since repainted it. Authorities questioned his son, Gonzalez Jr., and learned that he had taken a small loan from Bird to start a martial arts studio, a business which wasn't doing well. The attack on the Billings was financially motivated. At trial, it came out that Gonzalez Jr. had provided the all-black clothing, boots, and equipment used on the night the home invasion criminals were caught on camera. He had also helped to organize a meeting prior to the robbery, where the group practiced for the real encounter. In court, 2 men confessed their criminal involvement and pointed to Gonzalez Jr. as the ringleader. The case was solved when all of the men involved in the robbery were either convicted or pled guilty. Gonzalez Jr. was sentenced to life in prison. His father, Leonard Gonzalez Sr., was also incarcerated and passed away in 2015 while serving time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.